Hey everyone, what is going on? What is going on? What is going on? My name is Curtis Brooks. I am a men's life coach. I help men communicate their way to healthy relationships. Guys, this is more so an impromptu broadcast here. As you notice, today is not Thursday. Well, let me make sure. Yeah, today is Wednesday. So, yeah, obviously today is not Thursday. But again, this is a impromptu broadcast, and I wanted to share some great news with you, and also just wanted to answer any questions that you might have as it relates to life coaching for men, or just any challenges that maybe as for a woman and the men in your life is maybe having, and he does not want to talk about it, but you may want some, as a woman, you may want some more insight about different things as he is maybe he's having some challenges with or something like that. So yeah, so today is more of a impromptu, and I have some great some awesome news that I want to share with you that we've got an upcoming event, and so I'll give you more about that in just a little bit. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask away. Yeah, let's see here. I am missing one of my devices here. Let's see here. Yeah, so we're actually we're broadcasting on LinkedIn, guys. My LinkedIn page. And we're also broadcasting on my Facebook page, and there's also a live coaching for men on Facebook, as well as my personal Facebook page, and also my YouTube account. That's live coaching for men over on YouTube. And too bad we can't broadcast to IG. I think they were working on that at some point, and I don't know what happened. It's on hiatus. I'm not sure, but any event, again, answering any questions you might have. In the last couple of days, we have actually been trying to kind of hitting it hard in regards to the doing a live streaming, at least broadcasting. We're broadcasting on IG just yesterday, and today we're broadcasting, I think, on 4 platforms today. So that being said, we're talking about all this great news that I'm going to be sharing with you in just a little bit. That is regards or is in regards to our upcoming event that is taking place real soon here. So I want to get you guys the details about that, and let you know where you need to go to get all set up and registered for the event. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But again, answer any questions that you might have. So let me know, ask away. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. So that being said, let's talk about. I actually had done some posting on LinkedIn, actually quite a bit of posting on LinkedIn here in the last recent months. Just been flooding LinkedIn with a lot of just content, be it videos or just uh, postings of all just of all kind, if you will, and just getting refamiliarized with LinkedIn, I should say, because I had taken a hiatus on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a lot different from Facebook or Twitter or any of the other platforms as well. So, but that being said, guys, uh, again, I've been doing a lot of posting, and so one of the posts, actually several of the posting I had done in regards to men's anger, it was um, it was a huge piece over there. It got a lot of attention over on LinkedIn, and that was again talking about men's anger, and that is one of the challenges that I think that we have as men is there are anger issues, and oftentimes, like I said, I haven't been really talking too much about the anger issue as of lately over on LinkedIn or for all that matters on any of the other platforms, but I have been just really kind of just wanted to back off that because as men, we can sometimes be very delicate about those different things, even though we may be dealing with them. It's no one wants to look up each time and say about men's anger, men's anger. So for men, one of the things I've learned is that we're delicate with that, and I know it might be hard to believe for some of you, but in fact we are just delicate. In regards to those certain things that are pressing for us. And though we may absolutely be aware of them, it's a delicate situation, and especially, and I think for all that matters, it's even the same with women. No one wants to be, or at least feel like they've been bombarded with an issue that they're dealing with, and you know that you have an issue, but still, you don't want to be bombarded with that issue. So, as it relates to anger, we're going to talk about that because I think it is a hot topic, often not discussed, but it absolutely does need to be discussed. And so, that is going to be some of the things that we'll also be discussing during the conference as well. So we'll be talking about anger and how we as men can deal with anger. So, excuse me, I am. also one of those persons or individuals who dealt with anger at a time in my life? Absolutely. It was a challenge. It was a challenge of getting a hold of those emotions because how I seen a matter at one time in my life, whatever it may have been, if my mind said something or whatever it may have been saying at that time, for me it was a go. It was a go. And so I know some people may find it hard to believe, but the reality of it is, yeah, I'm a man, and yeah, I have been dealing with anger issues, not now, and haven't dealt with them for years. But that was a challenge for me. That was a huge challenge for me. So I guess the question, or you might have, is that where do these anger issues come from? And obviously, these anger issues can come from a multitude of different things. And it's important to know that there's not probably just one answer that's going to solve everyone's problem. But I think a just a trying to work it out, being intentional about trying to work it out, that's going to absolutely be beneficial to everyone, not only to the man, but also to those involved, his children, his wife, or significant other. So it's important, guys, to know that anger is for us men. For us men dealing with anger, it's a big thing. A lot of us have lost jobs. A lot of us may have lost relationships, divorces, or someone that we really cared about. Perhaps you weren't married, but you've been maybe dating someone for a period of time, and that relationship ended because of anger issues. Anger coming in the way of jealousy, coming in the way of rage, coming in the way of just undealt with trauma. Things that have happened to us when we were a child or something like that, be it a person being molested, mentally, verbal, or physically abused, or any of those kind of different things going on, emotionally abused. So trauma absolutely can be a part of our lives. And then for us as men, a lot of times it is a part of our lives. But yet we seem to oftentimes we seem to shy away from dealing with those things. And I think that because we are unfortunately, because we are shying away from dealing with those things or addressing those matters, it ends up becoming the cornerstone that holds everything together, pertaining to what we required in life. And it's interesting because even though we may not start off in that particular space being angry, but when we have the undealt trauma or situations that we need to heal from, we will oftentimes, it's not just a man thing, it's just a people thing. We'll oftentimes take in a space or a place where we will just want to try and ignore that thing and begin to focus on building, but focus on going to school, focus on running our business. And secretly or quietly, what we're working on is essentially being without having going through the healing process. Essentially, what we've been working on is absolutely becomes a house of cards, essentially, or something that's being held together by rubber bands, if you will, because our emotions and just again the healing piece that needs to take place, that hasn't taken place up until a certain point, again, oftentimes is held together by a house of cards, if you will. Something just as so minuscule, and where it's just you just tap it, and we as men, we can find ourselves flying off the just flying off the jumping off the mountain or whatever the case might be, and just going in all kinds of different directions as it relates to anger. And so until we as men get a hold of that anger, it can be difficult to build something that we're trusting in, because we can oftentimes direct our attention to building something. Well, as men, we can say, well, to ourselves, we may not necessarily say it to ourselves, but as men, we can take a stance and, well, I'm not going to deal with this right now. I'm going to build my business. I'm going to go out and meet friends. I'm going to go out and network and do all these different kinds of things to help look away, or at least just take my attention off this thing that I'm dealing with. And unfortunately, when it gets to that place, we as men can really, as I stated earlier, we are beginning to build our house on a foundation that that won't stand, that cannot withstand, because as the vicissitudes of life will show up at different times, uh, be it through our children or being provoked in a situation, be it purposely or uh, by a trigger. Someone has You're having a conversation, being provoked by someone. It can absolutely being once we've been provoked, and again, not having dealt with that anger for us as men. Uh, Once we've been provoked, it can absolutely again allow that house or that thing that we've built or the business or the relationship that we've been working or the marriage that we're fond of, if you will, something that we are cherishing, something that we're caring about. And when we're not dealing with the anger piece of uh, of our makeup, the things that we've dealt with, when we're not dealing with that, unfortunately, life will, folks, gentlemen and men, women alike, and children, life will absolutely bring someone who may not even know your situation inadvertently press a button, and next you know, the very thing that you have built, the very thing that you have put together is coming down like a house of cards. And we want to try and prevent that as much as we can. We don't want that. We don't want that. I've been there as well myself. We don't want that. Dealing with an unresolved issue, a personal issue for me, being that because I chose not to deal with it. Yes, it made me angry, not necessarily just not dealing with it, but because there was an unresolved issue. Excuse me, because there was an unresolved issue, what I ended up doing was that when the vicissitudes of life showed up, excuse me, and for all of us, they will show up, folks. They will show up. It will be just inadvertently, or it will be purposely through a relationship or through a colleague at work, through a boss, or through your child, through a marriage. It can be any situation where you can find yourself being provoked. Again, whether the individual is doing it deliberately. Maybe you shared something with this person on a personal matter, and they're deliberately pressing those buttons, and it brings forth a trigger or draws a trigger in you. And next thing you know, again, the very thing that you built, the very thing that you have been putting together, it comes down. And the interesting thing about it is that even if we apologize as men, how many times can you get away with apologizing and not having dealt with the very thing that you need to deal with? How many times can we get away with that, guys? So it's something to really think about, and how this anger really it feels like it comes to torment us. It feels like it comes to torment us, guys. And let's face it. I'm going to be 100% honest with you as it relates to things I've gone through, as those different situations come up, if I'm prompted to share those different things with you, as far as this broadcast or at any time during this broadcast or future broadcasts. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I have absolutely nothing to hide, and will show my hand and let you guys know that, hey, as men, it is not easy. And I know most of you as men know that it's not easy. And I think it seems like the only people who haven't gotten the message are the women sometimes. Sometimes our wives, our children, and society as a whole. It seems like they're the only people that haven't gotten a memo. But the reality of it is that being a man, or being in this skin or this position that we're holding, it is a tough spot. It is a tough space to hold and maintain who we are, because we have so many things coming at us. We have so many things and people saying that you're not who you are. You're this and you're this and you're this and you're this. And yet at times, or a lot of times, it can feel that we're the only species on this earth that are not allowed to make mistakes. It can absolutely feel that way. So I absolutely get it. And so what you'll get from me during this broadcast, again, and even from future broadcasts, you'll get someone who is going to be absolutely honest with you. Absolutely honest with you. There's no need for me to try to sugarcoat something to make you feel like, oh, it's going to be easy peasy, or you can 10x your life by just doing this and doing that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with 10x in your life if that's what you're desiring. But often as men, what we will do a lot of times is that we're trying to 10x our lives on the heels of the pain that we're dealing with, or the heels of the unresolved issues or matters that we're tending to, or that we have not tended to. And so that is a conflict of interest, if you will. And I think that's a perfect word. That's a conflict of interest, and that there's a place within us that resides. There's this anger, or these situations that we're dealing with as men oftentimes, that have absolutely, or can feel like they've taken up residence in this body of ours. That the anger or the emotions or the undealt with trauma, the situations that we're dealing with, it can absolutely feel that those items have decided to move in this body, and they moved the sofa in, the couch, put the paintings on the wall and the mirrors on the wall, and decorated the bathroom. And it can feel that the anger, the emotions, or again the undealt trauma has come in to just really take over this body of ours and take over our mind, if you will. But we're not going to let that happen, though. We're not going to let that happen, man. And that's so much of what this broadcast is about, so much more of what I am about as a person, because I've had my share of stuff, guys. Absolutely. Absolutely. I have absolutely had my share of challenges. I'm here to, um, again, not trying to cover up. I'm getting up in age, and none of us are getting any younger. Yeah, there's no need to try to cover up anything. I have absolutely nothing to lose. I have absolutely nothing to lose, and even when an individual is ready to make such a statement, and not to the detriment of being reckless. No, no, that's not what I mean. What I do mean is that the body, this fleshly suit that we're wearing, our mindset, if you will, along the way we have picked up some stuff, man. We have all picked up some stuff. And guys, give me 1 second here. Give me 1 second here. 1 second here. 1 second here. I want to make sure I am still here, guys, still here. I want to make sure that I'm getting, I see. Let me see here. I'm going to have to log into LinkedIn. I'm actually broadcasting to LinkedIn as well, so I do apologize. I'm going to take a moment and see if I can sign in and make sure I'm showing up on LinkedIn, because as of lately, unless they've changed it, the comments are not coming in over on LinkedIn at this moment. So again, guys, this is a Q&A, guys. So again, ask any questions that you may have related to any challenges that you may be dealing with as a man, or if you are a woman watching the broadcast and you have a significant other or husband, of a long term, short term, whatever the case might be, or you're just inquiring about why do men do this, what is the meaning of XYZ, whatever it might be, ask away. I'm here to answer any questions that you might have. And also, as I mentioned earlier, before starting or after starting the broadcast, I should say, I have absolutely some wonderful news to share with you in regards to a upcoming event that I want to talk about. And so we'll talk about that in just a few moments. So again, ask away, guys. If you have any questions, please free please feel free to ask away. I'm here to answer any questions that you might have as it relates to your relationship, men, and your relationship, or women, the relationship that you have with men. So that's what I'm here for. So as I was discussing moments ago, as it relates to anger. Um, Anger is one of those things where, again, if we are not careful in managing that, taking care of this anger, uh, the the emotions, if you will, the emotions that have that we have just allowed to just do their own thing, if you will, and they have left. They've left. They've become unmanaged, if you will, and obviously there are a lot of different things that that will play into that. Again, a person being molested, abused, physically, mentally, emotionally, sexually, and different other things that I may not even be aware of, obviously. But when a person is dealing with such atrocities that has been done to them, or or even the person that's doing it. Both people are dealing with issues. Both people are in need of help or therapy or counseling on some level. But for the person that is the recipient on the other end of it, um, we also have to understand. I mean, in understanding this is that it is important to know that without dealing with the trauma, dealing with the emotions that 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 will show up, and allowing them to fester. And again, it's a lot of times through no fault of our own, but the problem now is that it's your situation. Even if the person was awful and they're absolutely at fault, you did nothing wrong to you know to justify what they may have done to you. You've done nothing wrong. But now, and it's unfortunate, guys. I get it. I get it. I was just sharing with my son of a situation earlier. I had done nothing wrong, and this is years before being married to his mother, but I did nothing wrong. But here I was in a situation wanting to respond in the way that I felt I should, rightfully so, being justified, responded. But I chose to go the other way. I chose to pray. I chose to call for help. Absolutely, I needed to call for help. This was a crazy situation. Absolutely, guys. So I've been there, done that. Got the T-shirt, got the hat. So again, if you have any questions related to some of the challenges that you may be dealing with as men, drop those questions in the comment area. I'm also broadcasting over on YouTube, broadcasting on Facebook, my personal page on Facebook, also Facebook Live Coaching for Men over on Facebook, and then Live Coaching for Men on YouTube, and then over on LinkedIn. So again, ask any questions that you might have um, related to men. Any questions? Again, if you are a woman, ask away. I'm here to answer any questions that you might have. So we've been talking about anger. We've been talking about trauma. Anger is I would say, trauma is a response to the anger. Trauma is a response to the anger, or again, trauma doesn't always show up. It does not always show up, and there's different levels to trauma, folks. It does not always show up in a way that we may think, or in a sense that a person has dealt with something, and um, uh, it may not always be fresh. It may not always be a fresh wound that they're dealing with. And so, in ways or at times, what they're dealing with can absolutely be hidden, and it can take just the, as I said earlier, it can just take the wrong situation or the wrong question, the wrong, just being provoked again deliberately, or just a casual conversation that you may have with this man or individual that you may be dating, or husband, whatever the case might be. So a casual conversation, and that casual conversation turns into something that, wow, turns into something of a nightmare. Why in the world did I go there? What made me ask that question? And and for all intents and purposes, it may not have been your fault. You may not have done anything wrong. But the fact that you're dealing with a person who still has unresolved issues, and obviously, we're talking about men, but trauma in a lot of ways has been a part of all of our lives, and I don't think anyone is going to escape it. And obviously, there's different levels or degrees to trauma, but no one is going to escape trauma and come out scot free in his lifetime. I don't believe that. And I know if it's such a case or such a situation, I don't even know if I want to know the person, because the reality of life is that we're all dealing with some things, and for us as men, healing is a necessary. Healing is a necessary, and some issues or some avenues, I guess, these things that I'm sharing with you right now, they're just not talked about. But the reality of it is that we're losing our brothers, we're losing our uncles, our fathers, our nephews, our cousins, our sons to mental issues. We're losing them to alcoholism or substance abuse or to downright anger. At some point, the anger, as I was stating earlier, at some point, even with the anger, we want to see these things, oh, they're emotions. Heck yeah, they're emotions. But when they're not dealt with, they will consume us. When they're not dealt with, folks, they will consume us. And so it makes it very difficult to have a healthy relationship with anyone. It can make you very difficult to work a job with anger issues. Come on, guys. Come on. It can make it, having anger issues or just undealt trauma or things where we're just having difficult time being around people, because we can, with this anger, with these emotions, it can almost make it feel like someone is deliberately, and the truth of the matter is the person wasn't even thinking about you. You weren't even on the person's mind. But because of the anger or the emotions, again, borderline psychosis, I'm not a doctor, but this is just from my research, borderline psychosis or just some kind of mental disorder, the individual with the undealt trauma they hear things that people aren't saying. There are conversations that are going on in their head that people are not even talking about. But because of the trauma and because of not only just the trauma, because it's been undealt with. Those are sensitive areas to a lot of people. And because they're sensitive areas, if you're paying attention to people, you'll notice that certain conversations, people begin to get antsy or restless or nervous or anxiety comes over them. Excuse me. These are all the attributes having to deal with, the undealt trauma. Again, on all different levels. I'm really not going to go into all the different kind of names of trauma, but I just wanted this to be more so a Q&A, guys, as it relates to, a Q&A as it relates to any questions that you might have. So relating to just anything relates to for men, for your husband or the boyfriend in your life. Any questions you might have, be it man or woman. So this is what we're talking about, guys. We're answering just questions. Any questions that you might have. So once again, guys. So that being said, don't see any questions. I want to talk to you about a awesome event that's taking place. It is taking place in the month of October. That is this year, October 2023. I'm super excited about it because it's going to allow you to see what I have to showcase in regards to helping men and the strides that have been that I've been taking, not only personally and professionally, but we're going to have multiple speakers at this conference. We're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about spirituality. We're going to talk about careers. We're going to talk about finances. So all these things, though they may seem like, oh, well, what are those? What does one have to do with the other? They're all connected, folks. They're all connected, especially the spirituality piece of it. We're not talking about trying to convert someone to Christianity, Muslim, or any one of the many other faiths out there. That's not what this is about. The interesting thing about what I learned about be it Christianity or many other faiths out there, or just sometimes we hear discussions. There are things that people say, and we may not like that person, but does it mean that what they're saying is wrong? We may not like the person, but what they're saying, is it wrong? Yes, would love to check it out, Curtis Brooks. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Erica East, for joining, for checking in, and thank you, Yolanda, for the fire, for the fire. I appreciate it. Thank you, Yolanda, and thank you, Erica, as well. But yeah, so yeah. Again, for the trauma, and again, the trauma is a byproduct, or the anger, trauma, and the anger is the emotion, and trauma is the experience, or the multitude of different experiences that make up the trauma, things that men have not dealt with, men and women alike, or just people as a whole. And as I've been talking about for a little while now, is that there are a lot of things that we cannot control. Absolutely, there are a lot of things that we cannot control, but fortunate or unfortunate, once the thing has been done to you, whatever it might be, maybe some kind of offense, someone cut in front of your car, and you're trying to make a right turn, and someone cut in front of you. And I know I'm overly simplifying it, but my point is that whatever the situation may be, it's now yours. However it made you feel, it's now yours. However I feel, it's now mine. Whether a person did it purposely or unintentionally, and maybe even if they apologize, I may feel a little bit better, but the emotions that come up in that particular situation, or again, even if it was done purposely, deliberately, the emotions that may come up, they're mine and they're yours to deal with now. And now over a period of time, and we can look at these situations over a period of time as, let's just say, years that you've gone through in our adult lives now. We've had all kinds of different situations that have built up on the inside, and that we have not dealt with, and now you have a situation where a person cuts you off, and it may not be anything. It may not have anything to do with the person cutting you off. And that's the interesting thing about with anger. A lot of times, it may not have anything to do with the person cutting you off, just maybe saying something to you that was rude. In most cases, it has nothing to do with any of that. But what it does have to do with is the thing that has taken up residence in us. Again, that anger that has decided to move in, put paintings on the wall, and it ultimately becomes a mind thing, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. It becomes a mind over matter. And then I know it's not necessarily so easy. It's not so easy. Definitely not so easy, because a lot of the experiences that we're dealing with, it kind of reminds us of like a Dumbo elephant being tethered to a rope, if you will. And as that adult elephant, that baby elephant, the Dumbo elephant, is at some point is becomes untethered, the adult elephant chooses not to break that imaginary chain that he has that the adult elephant has envisioned in their mind. And so the anger or the experiences that we've dealt with, it's not any different from that. A lot of the experiences that we dealt with, you just think about this now. A lot of the experiences that we've dealt with in this lifetime, a lot of them have happened when we were children. And I'm not saying all, because people have unfortunately dealt with different deaths in the family of a parent or a loved one on different levels, and they were an adult when this situation happened. But a lot of the atrocities or assaults that have taken place in this lifetime that we're dealing with, it has taken place when we were younger. And so, with that being said, in most cases, there wasn't a defense for it. What do we do with that as a young child? Where do we go with that? We can tell someone, but it's still ours, though. It's still something that we have to deal with. It becomes now something that we have to be responsible for. And I know, no, it's absolutely not fair. It's absolutely not fair, guys. But I know that in the making of, I guess, our lives and deciding what we want to become when we grow up, and what we want to do and what we want to accomplish. These things are a part of life. Being offended, being assaulted in some kind of manner, not necessarily a criminal manner, but being assaulted or being offended on some level. These things are absolutely a part of life, and I think the challenge is that we have to get used to them. Doesn't mean that we have to live with them, but we have to get used to them and knowing that they are a part of life. They are a fact for life. That is a fact in this lifetime. You and me will be offended by something. That is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. And the sooner we, in our own minds, begin to let go of a hope that's going to change that, that's going to magically change that, rather than dealing with it on a deeper level and coming to understand it, we can find ourselves, again, just being tossed to and fro, having to try to navigate this landmine of a world that we sometimes live in, trying to avoid certain people because we don't want to be triggered by people. Or some people are toxic. Sometimes it may not be the people who are toxic. Sometimes it may just be the things that we need to deal with. So that being said, guys, once again, I want to talk to you about a wonderful conference that we have coming up. It's called Rewriting Success and Revolutionizing Well-Being, the Ultimate 2-Day Men's Conference. I'm going to put this on the screen here, if I can remember the keys here. There you go. So again, it's called Rewriting Success and Revolutionizing Well-Being, the Ultimate 2-Day Men's Conference. And it's taking place, it's taking place Friday and Saturday, October 20th and the 21st of this year. That's 2023, for 2 days only. Again, in the Houston, Texas area. Doors open on the first day at 7 p.m. Would love to see you there. Again, that is Rewriting Success and Revolutionizing Well-Being, the Ultimate 2-Day Men's Conference. Eric, I know you just you said we'd love to check it out. Absolutely, yes. I'll DM you with more information if you are so inclined to. get to learn more about what is going on with the conference. And let me give you access to this. Oops, all right, so F, here we go. So looking on the screen here, the link to the conference is going to be bit.ly the men's conference. And that's going to take you to the website where you can register for the ticket, your seat, claim your seat. And once you have done that, and this is a wonderful thing about this, be it man or woman, what we've done, what we're doing with this conference is that we are automatically enrolling you, and it's absolutely optional. We're enrolling you into our meetup group that we're holding each week. So again, this will give you another opportunity. So once you have purchased the ticket, again, go to the website that's on the screen there. That's bit.ly the men's conference. Go to that link on screen there, copy it, or just type it in, or one of the two might in your browser field there. And it's going to take you to, I'm going to see if I can type this in. It's going to take you to the website. And once you go to the website, you click on the link, you can read the copy. There's some great content I'm sharing on there. And as I mentioned earlier, there's going to be more speakers. We are actually still in the preliminary phase of this conference. So there's going to be definitely more speakers. There's more work that I'm going to be adding, more content I'll be adding to the website, such as more speakers. And again, as I mentioned earlier, there's going to be a host of different topics: spirituality, health, finances, career, relationships, all of these things that are absolutely important to men. We're going to be discussing them at the conference, guys. So again, that's bit.ly bit.ly the men's conference. Go to the website there, read the content there. Please read the content. I think it's going to be helpful. It's going to let you know where I'm coming from, my heart, and I'm very passionate about serving men. And this is I'm in the vein of my life work, and this is what I love to do. So I'm happy to finally have arrived here, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. And so love to hear you there, love to see you there, and love to hear more from you as it relates to any questions that you might have about what I've been talking about, what I've been sharing with you. Again, we've been talking about trauma, we've been talking about anger, and anger obviously is an emotion, and with that emotion, that emotion comes from our experiences, and from the experiences create pockets of different events, if you will, and those events, we call them trauma. Or from those events, we have just a collaboration of experiences or emotions that have collided, if you will. And we can find ourselves easily trying to wash it off of us, if you will, so to speak, and trying to cleanse ourselves of it. And the only way that we can do that is to deal with it, is to say, hey, you know what? I didn't do this to myself. I would not have done this to myself. But I am choosing to take responsibility for it. And as horrible as it may sound, is that even if it's not your fault, even in my situation, as different things that I will probably, at some point share with you more information about myself on a personal level. Those things weren't my fault either. They were not my fault. But for the person who has the undealt trauma, they naturally take it on as a personal. They naturally take it on as something that they may have done wrong. And again, not in all cases, because there's different levels of trauma and different events that have caused trauma. Perhaps death in a family, divorce. That's a big one. There's something about trauma that comes from a divorce that's very, very, very interesting, very powerful, and just very deep, very deep. Trauma can cause huge pockets of trauma. Divorce can cause huge pockets of of trauma and in different areas. And sometimes the people that we're involved with, they can make us feel that we're not worthy, and or marrying the wrong person, death of that person in a physical manner. The person may have died, or just feeling in a more so an emotional perspective, physical, mentally. The person was abusive, and these things are absolutely horrible for sure. But again, when as it relates to divorce, when you're an individual is coming out of divorce, divorce is a huge one as it relates to trauma, guys. It's huge, and that's what a lot of people are dealing with. Men too, guys, men too. So that being said, guys, again, I want to share with you the event that is taking place. That is taking place. That is taking place. Um, let's see here. That is Rewriting Success and Revolutionizing Well-Being, the Ultimate 2-Day Men's Conference. It's taking place Friday and Saturday. That is going to be October the 20th and the 21st. It is absolutely difficult to do a one-man show, especially if you're bringing on lower thirds and titles and all that stuff there. But once again, that's going to be a Friday and Saturday. That's October the 20th and the 21st of this year. That's 2023. For 2 days only in the Houston, Texas area. Doors open at 7 p.m. on Friday. Would love to see you there. Again, that's Rewriting Success and Revolutionizing Well-Being, the Ultimate 2-Day Men's Conference here in the Houston, Texas area. Once more, Friday and Saturday, the 20th and 21st of October. That's this year, 2023, for 2 days only in the Houston, Texas area. Doors open at 7 p.m. the first day. And you can get more information about the conference by visiting the link that's on the screen there. That's bit.ly, bit.ly/ the men's conference. Visit that link there, and we'll give you all kinds of information about the conference. We are still in the preliminary phases of the conference, so there will be many more speakers, guys. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll be talking about spirituality, we'll be talking about health, we're talking about finances, we'll be talking about relationships, we'll be talking about anger, and anger is probably going to be one of those things that it's going to be more so like a subtopic of some of the other topics, perhaps even spirituality, relationships, and things of that nature. So, or even money, or just careers, whatever. But anger can absolutely fit into all of those different categories, and it is often what we as men are dealing with, because we've got the response, if you will. The response to the anger is the trauma that comes up, the anxiety, the busyness all of a sudden. Again, just not being able to control that anger, and just finding ourselves snapping at the people that we love. And in some cases, in most cases, I would dare to say that the individual may not know what you're dealing with. They may not know what you're dealing with. And as men, we can absolutely find ourselves wanting to keep that information to ourselves. And this is very interesting, because I was talking with my son. He just had a relationship that, or girlfriend, I'm not sure how long they were dating, but I think for a good length of time. But he just had a situation where he and his girlfriend had broken up, and I was sharing with him because there's something about a man's dignity, and it's not even an ego thing. Oh, about being proud. No, it's not about an ego thing. It's about, I don't know, dignity. It's something that we as men, when we are not in a safe space, sharing certain things or having certain conversations, and I think inadvertently we can find ourselves sharing this information with people who should not be privy to this information, and men can lose their dignity. Men can lose their dignity, and oftentimes that is just the case. Men have lost their dignity, and we can find ourselves doing some of the most ridiculous things for relationships. And at some point, we just need to stop. We need to stop and fix ourselves, talk with someone, preferably another man or someone who can understand your situation. And as a colleague of mine says, someone who doesn't have a dog in the fight, someone who you're just not going to be concerned with that person sharing your information. Again, having a safe space and that you have absolutely nothing to lose but everything to gain, guys. So don't let this anger, don't let your trauma responses continue to take up residence. Don't let them continue to destroy the very things that you love, the things that you care about, the things that the things that you're trying to build. It's hard to build a business, guys. You know, I think I was starting to touch bases on this earlier. This trauma stuff, this anger, things that we have not dealt with as men, guys. This thing is like a virus, man. I'm trying to tell you, it would touch and destroy everything that comes up. You know, everything. It will even prevent you from starting a business when you know that you're good at a certain thing. Oh, you can do X, Y, Z. Perhaps you've been in a certain business as a craftsman or a carpenter or whatever the case might be. Maybe you write code or something like that, and you've been working for a particular company for 10, 15 years, and you're like, well, hey, you know what? I can do my own business. Yeah, you probably can, and you may make a great business owner. You may do very well. But until we as men deal with that anger, it can absolutely be very difficult to move forward with trying to even start a business, finding the right people, because your anger now is in direct conflict with where you're trying to go. Yeah, we can try to suppress the anger. How do we suppress the anger? Some of our fathers, our sons, some of our uncles and our nephews, cousins, they become alcoholics, substance abusers. That's how we often suppress it. Overeating. More than multiple relationships, trying to juggle 6, 7 relationships. However you cut it, slice it, or dice it, folks, it's called abuse. And when we as men have not been healed, we're not only abused by the anger, the unresolved issues. It's like the issue itself, or the anger, the emotion called anger, just taking us and doing what it will at will with us as men, and just having its way with us. And until we get a hold of that, we find ourselves being made subject to the imbalance in life, if you will. We can find ourselves easily being made subject to those things that are just not fruitful for gain. And to even begin to think about having a healthy relationship, it's 9 times out of 10 when men have not dealt with their trauma. Guess what? The likelihood of you finding someone healthy is not very likely, folks or gentlemen. So do yourself a favor. Give to yourself the gift of healing. Better yet, give yourself an opportunity for the conference. Visit the link that's on the screen, bit.ly/the men's conference. Gift yourself an opportunity to get some insight on what you're dealing with, because you'll be around many other men, possibly hundreds of other men who are dealing with the same thing. So do yourself a favor, gift yourself that, because You can't even begin to take on healthy anything. It's like everything that you touch will be tainted with the, just tainted with what you're going through. And if it doesn't show up right away, give it time. You'll find yourself back to the same position that you were months ago, or having what they call a deja vu moment. And we don't want that, gentlemen. I've had them too many times. We don't want that, gentlemen. So give to yourself the opportunity to change your situation, opportunity to change your outcome, opportunity to rise above your situation, opportunity to put the anger behind you, and know that when it does come up, you don't always have to respond to it the same way. So once again, guys, visit that link that's on the screen. That's going to be bit.ly / the men's conference, bit.ly / the men's conference. It's going to take you to our page, our website. There you can look at the information that I've put together on the website. Again, we are in the preliminary phases of our conference, so there'll be lots more speakers, several more speakers. We'll be talking about things such as spirituality, relationships. We'll be talking about careers, finances, all those things that really make us more well-rounded, I should say. Well-rounded as men. All those things that really give us something to be proud of, and not to our detriment, but just, man, I love being a provider, and I that's just who I am. And then when I say providing, I'm not speaking of providing just financially, but providing in a way of encouraging my family, providing in a way of speaking life into situations. So that being said, guys, I am going to wrap it up. Thank you all for who have decided to stop in. Thank you, Yolanda, for the fire that you've sent me. And thank you, Erica East. I will send you more information, former colleague of mine as well. And we worked together many years ago. But nevertheless, thank you for stopping by. And all those who will watch the replay, again, that information, I will place those links or additional information or that may have mentioned within the description area of the broadcast. So if you have any questions or additional questions, you can reach me at itsnotrocketsciencecoaching@gmail.com. Or perhaps you can leave a comment on my Facebook page. That's going to be Life Coaching for Men over on Facebook. YouTube, it's Life Coaching for Men, trying to keep all the names consistent. And over on LinkedIn, you'll look for a guy with a blue background and locks. That's the best I can do for right now on LinkedIn. So you can find me on LinkedIn under Curtis Brooks. And there's one other, I think that's about it. So guys, I'm going to say ciao for now, goodbye. And that's going to do it, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.